Hello. This presentation was prepared as part of the HAP 360 course on Information Systems in Healthcare Management taught by Farouk Halimi, PhD at George Mason University, Department of Health Administration and Policies. Today's topic is assessing information needs, and the person whose needs are being assessed are Asad Jaffrey, who works at Eric Cohen and Company as a tax associate. He is 24 years old, married to me, and the three upcoming decisions that he needs to make within the 6 months are to prepare to take for the CPA exam when the tax season is over, because that certification is going to help him prosper and achieve better career goals. The second decision is prepare to go for a vacation after the tax season with his wife because there's going to be a lower workload, and buy a home for a family to grow into. Each of these decisions require further assessing. To take the CPA exam, he will require time to study. He needs to look at the cost for purchasing books and the exam itself. He needs to be able to pay for it, so he needs to work enough to collect that money. To prepare for the exam, his work schedule is very important because he needs to find time to study, and he needs a really good study plan if he wants to pass the exam. Then, to prepare for the vacation, again, the cost is a very important piece of information. To go on a vacation, he needs to take time off, needs to figure out a location and destination. Again, needs to know what's his work schedule going to be like. Temperature, not a very important piece of information, but it still counts because if the place for vacation is hot, it's not going to be as fun. Shopping, needs to buy clothes to wear for fun, and the distance that is going to be traveled. So does he need to use a car, or do we need to buy plane tickets to go on the trip? Then to look for a house, the location again is very important. The price, the time to look for the house is very important, and the shopping needed to decorate the house. Distance, the amount of time it's going to take to commute from work to home, and the condition of the home, if it's new, if it's old, if it needs repair, what is it going to be like? So the second and the third step into assessing the information requires to develop a taxonomy and the rate of importance of information requirement. So by asking Assad, the information was put on a scale from 1 to 7 to see how important it was. As you can see in the table below, cost and price were important for the exam, vacation, and to buy a house. The time again was an important feature. So was the location. Distance, not as much. Work schedule, not as much. Shopping, the condition, the study plan, and temperature were on the lower scale of importance. Later, to analyze the data plan, it is important to look at the average and the range of the information that needs to be assessed. As you can see in the picture on the left, when the range is small and the average is high, that kind of information is essential and it needs to be collected immediately. When the range is wide but the average is still high, that's called the rapid data collection set. When the average is low and the range is also low, such information is labeled as low priority items, and when the range is wide and the average is low, that kind of data is periodic data set, which can be collected when needed. So as you can see, the average and the range for the scale and the information provided was calculated as seen in the table on the left. Now this data is going to be analyzed by a outside expert. When the same data is compared, you can see that the ratings that were given by Asad Jaffrey showed that the cost and price were the most important features. However, when the data was assessed by an outside expert, according to them, time was the most important feature. Then came the cost and price. Differences can be seen because it depends from person to person what is more important for them to achieve their goals. Now, the different ways that data can be analyzed, as mentioned before, has 4 different kinds. There is essential information, which includes items that are important to all issues. There is rapid collection items. This set includes items that can be collected rapidly if the need arises. Periodic collection items. This set includes items important on some issues. And low priority items. This set is not very important and thus can be ignored. For the analysis plan, I color-coded the information so it's easier to see. The essential information set, which had high averages and small ranges, as seen in the table on the right, are cost and time. Their average is 6.67 and 6.33, and the range, the difference between their maximum and minimum, was 1 and 2. The rapid collection set analysis, which is slightly less important than essential but has a larger range, were the location, the distance, and the work schedule. As you can see, the average, even though is high, but the range is also high. The shopping is periodic set of information. It's unimportant for most policies, but vital to few. As you can remember from the table before, shopping was important only for vacation or buying a house, not for giving the CPA exam. So it's considered a periodic information set. And the low priority set is information that does not carry a lot of importance. So the average is low and the range is moderate to low. And as you can see, the condition, the study plan, and the temperature have a very low average. The reason you see the ranges as being 7, 6, or 5 is because range is subtracting the maximum value minus the minimum value. The condition was only accounted for the house, so it was counted as a 7. But for the CPA exam and vacation was 0. So 7 minus 0 gave us a 7. The study plan was only important for the CPA exam and didn't count as anything for the vacation or buying a house. The similar condition applied for temperature. That's why you can see the range may be shown as high, but the average is low. Now the reason we need to computerize the information or not depends on how important it is. As seen in the table in the slide before, cost and time should be computerized because they are important and vital pieces of information for Asad. Location, distance, and work are counted as being the next important pieces of information and should be added to the computerized system. However, the shopping, conditions, temperature, and the study plan are not very important and thus do not need to be computerized, or that information can be collected when needed. So my introspection of the information provided by Saad Jaffrey is that because he just started his professional career, he may not be sure if he wants to continue being a tax associate or not. Thus, his efforts towards obtaining the CPA certification are futile. So if he wants to change his job, CPA exam might not be as important as it is to public accounting. Because he's new to his professional career, that assessment for giving the CPA exam is not very strong. Also, for buying the house, given that the recent turmoil facing the stock market and the unsettled decisions regarding the interest rate and bond markets, purchasing a home may no longer be a viable decision to be made. Thank you.